Well, thank you, Lorne, for sitting down with me.
Pleased to be here.
Lorne, you are Director of Policy for Seeds Canada. I don't even know where to start. We're talking about a lot of policy here this week in Ottawa at the Semi-Annual Meeting. ISSB, SRM, all these acronyms that people are quite familiar with. If you had to pick one thing, what's the most important piece of policy discussion for you right now?
Well, I'm pleased to be here with our members at our semi-annual meeting here in Ottawa. And I think for me, the most important thing is, as we work through policy, to make sure that we're in line with the things that members need and members need changes on. Our guiding principles in Seeds Canada have provided us a framework to present when we discuss issues like you're talking about, and there's many of them, with other players. But we've always got to check in with members to make sure we're on track. So we're checking in with members to make sure that not only our principles are still valid, but how we're applying them in the different policy discussions is appropriate.
Now, you came to Seeds Canada almost 2 years ago from the Canadian Plant Technology Agency, CPTA, which amalgamated with 3 other groups to form Seeds Canada. You made it your mission for years to safeguard the intellectual property of plant breeders here in Canada. How has that mission been strengthened now that CPTA members are a part of this larger organization?
Well, that was a long-term mission of mine. It was just about 20 years as executive director of CPTA. We did a lot of innovative things, but now we have a larger group of staff and team members and specialists in areas. So we have specialists in communication, we have specialists in managing digital databases and managing the issues around the VUA platforms in MIS. So our team is larger and with more expertise, and it allows us to focus on the member needs more efficiently than CPTA did in a very small organization. So pleased that Mel Reiki is the manager of IP and is leading the communication with members on their IP issues, and also doing a bunch of the market monitoring that was done, and can spend significant time, more time than I could when I was a one-man operation there for many, many years.
Now, you discussed the findings of the first 3 SRM task teams here this week. That was a members' discussion, so we won't be talking specifics today. But come 2025, once the Seed Regulatory Modernization process is complete, where do you hope to see the seed landscape in a few years?
Well, my hope, and I think it's agreed to by our members, is that we go away from this project-by-project based system. I've been involved in several historic projects around seed modernization, like SRM. We had the National Forum on Seed, we had Seed Sector Review, we had the National Seed Sector Roundtable. And my hope is we go to a continuous improvement framework, and we've really proposed that. Lots of thanks to the CFA staff for the detailed work they've done on SRM to date, and people haven't seen the results, but it's really quite detailed. But what we need to do is go away from this project-by-project approach to a continuous improvement approach, where the value chain, the seed sector, and the government collaborate to have ongoing discussions and make continuous improvement on a regular basis, not on a project basis. That's where I'm hoping we go. As far as the actual regulatory change, our focus is on whether the regulations actually support us in serving our customers' needs. Our members need to be able to do the things necessary to be innovative and bring innovative products to the customer. And the regulations, if they impair that, are not beneficial.
Speaking of innovation, I keep hearing from people in hallways how Canada's falling behind in regards to plant breeding innovation. And for you, what's the biggest threat to that in Canada right now?
Well, there's 2 threats. One is because the returns to plant breeding and open pollinated crops are too low because of the high use of farm saved and seed and common seed. There's no return on investment for some of these programs, and it's hard to get anybody to invest in something when there's no return. The second thing is because our frameworks of our regulation are historic, they're not used to being able to change quickly as new technologies. And the technologies have changed immensely. not just things like genetic editing or marker-assisted breeding, but there's also all kinds of digital imaging tools, communication tools. There's all kinds of new technology in the seed development labs, in the seed analysis labs, in seed production, even in the farmers. And we are going to see a wave of this technology coming, and we're just not adapting quick enough.
Before I let you go, on the flip side of that, what's one thing that we're doing right here in Canada in regards to that?
Well, I think the thing in my career that's changed immensely is we as the seed sector have realized that we have to talk to the producers as we make changes. We can't bring them in at the end. And when you look at some of the world leading things we do, one of the things I will point out is those changes were because the discussion tables were value chain discussions. I was very involved in the canola industry. So the WCC-RRC was a value chain discussion. It had farmers at the table, it had processors at the table, it had grain handlers at the table, it had plant breeders at the table, it had really good scientists at the table, and they moved together with a goal. That's what I'm most proud of, and that's what we should replicate. We've done it in the corn industry in Eastern Canada, in the soybean industry, we're doing it in the pulse industry. We've got to focus on this. Let's get together as the value chain, set our goals, move forward, make adjustments on a regular basis.
Thanks for sitting down with me, Lorne.
Always happy to.